welcome. We got Mr. Rodney here. As always, on a Friday, Josh Vandenord. Today, gonna review some photo ops. I want to ask Rodney about, how that operates up there. Is this just a theater occupied government up there, Rodney? Are these just a bunch of theater kids running around trying to get some, some actor-esque photo ops going on?
And you said that y'all gonna break the huddle on me today, Josh. And first thing, we didn't even get to say, hey, what are you doing this weekend? A beautiful day. You're going down to the beach to enjoy yourself. And what you got on tap? Let's break this thing in slowly.
Go ahead. We'll break it in slowly. But yeah, Josh going to the beach this weekend? Okay. After the show.
Very good. What you got on tap for this weekend?
Monster trucks are in town. Okay. Taking the baby to monster trucks.
Neat.
Yep. Gonna try and enjoy that. Yes, definitely bring some earmuffs. Those things are loud, dude. But also got a video so we can bash on Tim Walz. Doing a lot of political bashing today. Nancy Mace, Tim Walz, up and down the line. All these people, they're all fake, aren't they, Rodney?
So your opening point was well received, though. You nailed it, buddy. It is a lot of drama up there and self-inflicted for the most part on both sides, actually. But
is any of it real?
Republican. Well, some of it's got to be based in a little bit of reality, but 100%, I don't think so.
Well, it's like we were talking earlier before we started. It's like you don't really want pure authenticity up there. You don't want 438 seats. You don't want everybody to be a disruptor and running their own way. You want the majority of them to kind of follow in line a little bit, and then you want some, a little bit of dissent so we can guide this conversation.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid point. You can't have chaos everywhere you look, left or right. And we spoke earlier about Mike Johnson. I think he's that normality, that calmness that kind of guides the ship. Yeah, you do want some disruptors, but if all you got is disruptors, you're not going anywhere.
Josh?
Yeah, I think to follow up on the Mike Johnson thing, and we kind of had this discussion off the air, basically this idea of like a lab-grown politician. Someone said to me, like, Mike Johnson is the perfect example of that because, he's good-looking, but he's also kind of like dorky-looking.
Meek.
Yeah, he's got a good voice, but it's not like a strong tone. He's like a total like political yes man while also being like not a total pushover. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You probably watched him like I did.
Thank you,
No.
Chairwoman.
Sorry, go ahead.
You probably watched him like I did when the last speech that Trump gave, I don't know, was addressed to the nation or whatever it was. And, Mike was sitting back there stoic in every way. But even himself, he couldn't help to completely control all his facial features because you'd see him snicker a little bit. And I kind of got a kick out of that. Let me know that he was real,
Now, I hear this a lot. The Speaker of the House is probably the worst position to be in D.C. Is that true? How much?
No question. Look, just look at the history of it. It's short-lived because you're going to have episodes. It's too close up there not to have episodes. And you start experiencing a couple lost here, there, it's low tolerance for that.
Low tolerance,
yeah. So,
if you don't toe that line.
It's not much lifespan as the Speaker.
Because I know there was a major shakeup. Matt Gaetz, that's not there anymore, was kind of leading the charge against Mike Johnson. And
what is he doing now? Not to go down a rabbit hole, but what's he doing?
I think
now?
he's going to try to run for governor.
Okay.
Of Florida. I mean, I would have liked to seen him as AG. Maybe we would have had Epstein files by now, but that ship's kind of sailed. I don't know. Maybe he runs for governor. I know DeSantis' wife was talking about running for governor too.
Oh, really?
In Florida. Yeah.
I've been checked out for a little bit, so you guys are going to tell me a lot of stuff I don't even know today.
I don't know. I don't even know what DeSantis' plan is if he's not running for governor. I mean, I don't know what these people are trying to.
Now, does he have a term left? Does he have?
DeSantis?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so he's just been a one-term governor there so far.
Do they have term limits in Florida?
Oh, I don't know. I just assume because of South Carolina, maybe they don't. Do they?
I'm not sure.
Maybe they do.
We need to know.
I didn't even thought about that.
We need to know that. Yeah.
I am kind of curious, Rodney, what you're. Oh man, I forgot. Hold on one second. What was I thinking? It was about. Okay, yeah, Matt Gaetz. So this is something Ken says about Matt Gaetz, especially when he was going through the whole controversy where he was like selected to be AG, and then all this stuff started coming out. Ken said the main problem that people had with Matt Gaetz is he didn't make any friends in Washington, which I understand. However, I think like when you actually look at Matt Gaetz' strategy, it was a lot like Donald Trump's, which I think is probably like his fault. Like I don't think he should have done what Trump did, but I think the reason like Ken would probably say that Donald Trump made friends on DC, but I think he actually just kind of, at least in his first term, beat DC into submission, the Republican Party into submission. They didn't really change or anything, but they kind of accepted the way the wind was blowing with Trump and went along with him, as opposed to Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz didn't run for president. He was.
You're basically saying Matt Gaetz didn't have the power to do what he was trying to do.
Yes.
Oh, I agree. He did not have. So only one person could have done what Trump did. I mean, that was Trump. Mike Gaetz, he did not have the bite by far that Trump had. So that wasn't going to work for him.
So this is a little bit of I think it leads to an interesting conversation. I'm going to read off of Google here, Wikipedia. But it says governors of Florida are directly elected by registered voters in Florida and serve terms of 4 years, renewable once consecutively. Now,
so he could do 8 years, be absent the third term, and
run again.
Yeah, which that's not the case in South Carolina.
That's not the case in South
I
Carolina.
don't think so. I think
because
you're 8 and done.
Because Steve Bannon was on MSNBC, CNN, Fox, somebody up there, and they were kind of asking him, and he was kind of leading to this idea of, I think to quote him, he says it depends on how you define term limits, because they were basically asking, does Trump get a third term, or can Trump get a third term?
Not as it stands now. They'd have to be some.
It sounds like they were trying to redefine term limits. I mean, I don't know how in Steve Bannon is at that level, but I wouldn't put it past him for trying. I mean, again, but he's going to be 82.
I think there's going to be some. That's a great point.
There'll be some shenanigans going on, without a doubt.
Even if they won that argument, even if it was like, okay, that only counts to consecutive things, then basically, you'd be saying that, well, someone could run for president an infinite amount of times, within their lifetime. Obviously, they would just have to skip every 4 years.
Yeah.
But on top of that, even if they could effectively argue in the courts that that's legitimate, I don't think Trump would do it again. And I don't think even all the people you won over in the last election in 2024, I don't think they'd come back.
I agree. I think at that point they'll look for, Trump set the course. And now we got people that can follow that course, thus some of the young folks that we're talking about. But interesting, if y'all allow me to divert just a minute, because DeSantis, that is so interesting, because you look back, I went down to Aiken to see him, and I mean, he had a tremendous rally when he was running for president. But if anybody has got lost in current politics, I mean, to me, it's DeSantis. I mean, where's his path moving forward? You got all these young guns. J.D. Vance would certainly be the go-to for after Trump leaves. I mean, where does that leave DeSantis, who is such a talent in my?
If you want my perspective on it, I think DeSantis goes to AG and Pam Bondi goes bye-bye. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I'd be okay with that. I get what I assumed you meant when you were asking is like politically, like is he going to run against J.D. Vance in 28?
I don't know where his path. I don't know where his path is. I don't know that he does either, because that's going to be such a force. It'd be interesting to see. We don't know, but J.D. Vance is going to continue to be that force, and I don't know what's left for DeSantis, which is sad because he's so young and so much talent. I think he needs to be part of our equation.
I think he goes to AG, man.
Interesting.
I would like to see it. I mean, Pam Bondi's been a real letdown, to be honest with you.
You say that why? Because like I said, I've been checked out, so I don't follow current events.
Everything, enforcement, all the way up and down. Epstein files, debacle. I mean, she's lied to the American people multiple times, and it's not even been a month yet.
Well,
so,
and even you're not quite on the same page as conspiracy theories goes as Zeb and myself. But like, even assuming that there was nothing going on on Epstein Island,
She still
the fact
lied
that
to
she
us.
just lied about it and made this huge publicity stunt over nothing. Like, why do that? Like, what was the point?
But it was multiple lies on top of each other because she said she had Epstein files on the desk and they're going to release them tomorrow. They didn't release them tomorrow. They found out they were in New York. She said she was going to get them from New York and release them in the next couple of days. They never released them in the next couple of days. It's like lie after lie after lie after lie after lie, and then now you don't hear anything about it, and it's like, I don't know.
Laughing Dog in the comments says she's the least valuable Barbie in Trump's.
Dude, that's so true, man. If you want to say somebody has a type, Donald Trump has a type. It doesn't matter if it's his wife or if it's somebody in the cabinet position or if it's their press secretary. Dude, except for one exception of Sarah Huckabee, it's like they're literally copy and paste across the board, man.
He's saying we're having problems with the mics.
Oh, Lord. How bad?
Which one? Hello? Hello?
Sounds fine to me.
What's effed up? Well, you talk. Is it Rodney? Is it me?
Check your cord, Josh.
He said all of you. Oh, you boys.
Good. Y'all keep talking.
Thank you, Laughing Dog. That's how we learn these things. Appreciate it. We've got our mastermind at the control
always
center
something.
now.
Mine must be plugged in because I can't get it unplugged. It was mine?
Should be good. Double check. Check.
It was
Check
mine?
1 2. Check 1 2. Mr. Dog. All right.
Wait, it was mine? Or
I think so. I think we got you fixed, though.
Okay.
Well, you were
He'll let us
okay.
know in about 2 seconds.
You wasn't getting any good information down there on that mic, so
Oh.
you were okay.
It's my calling life. Oh, the mic checks. All right. But yeah, I mean, kind of to finish off that topic is they're very, very similar across the board of all of Trump's appointee females. Excuse me. But anything else before we jump into this, I guess, a rapid fire photo op, trying to discuss what's going on these things. Baby. First thing, I'm going to start off with Tim Walz because, any chance I can get the bash on Tim Walz, we're going to take it. And
Such an easy target.
Such an easy target, man. We're going to watch this short video, and then everything else is going to be photos. See you on the back end. Listen to this one.
We see one of the first things they do is try and restrict the vote. This is one of the things, though, that this is going to take power to the streets. And I don't know what the answer is on this, but I've been saying this. I think we need a shadow government, so when all these things come up every single day, we've got an alternate press conference telling the truth about what things are happening, telling what's going out.
What? You already have a shadow government. You've already admitted. I mean, the entire left and the media has already admitted to having a secret cabal that they said they didn't have for 20 years. What do you think about that, Rodney?
It's this right here that almost destroyed our nation. And I say that with all seriousness. They were that far from destroying our nation, led by people like this that has no clue. If I was to paint a picture of somebody exactly opposite from me, that's the guy. He's everything that I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want my child to be. He's lost, and him and his comrades were that close, folks.
Yeah, but he's the leading masculine feature in the Democrat Party. He's going to bring them back from the brink of distinction and just take all these masculine men from the right and just funnel them back into the DNC. It's going to happen. We have Vice Chair David Hogg over there at the DNC that's just bursting out of the seams with testosterone. I mean, these guys they're so out of touch, man.
You might find this out. I'm dying to meet him.
Tim Walz?
I'm dying to meet him in the bull ring. That's a football gesture if you don't know, Josh.
I thought you meant
lined up and pow. I want to meet him in the bull ring.
I thought you meant like an actual bull rodeo or something like that.
Hey,
On the back of a bull.
That too. I mean, he's already got his clown costume on. He lives in it.
We're pretty critical, but I mean, he deserves every. He deserves every bit of it.
Who calls for a shadow government after you just lost an election with an electoral college and a popular vote? Mm-hmm. In the same voice of this waves after wave of leftists that have, said we don't have a shadow government, we don't have a shadow government, we don't have a shadow government. And then it kind of rolls out, oh, we do have a shadow government a little bit. And now you have somebody advocating for it again. It's like, how do we expect to go anywhere as a country when we have two opposing forces that are simply just fighting each other rather than actually going somewhere? And we need to make a decision as a country. Are we just going to play this game and destroy ourselves, which is what's happening? Or are we going to kind of make some concessions on the right to move this thing forward and kind of parse the left off to the side?
Bulldog it, Josh. And I don't mean this in an arrogant way, but on your show this morning, it was simply put, and I can't think of a better way to put it. And I think Ken had said, there's many more of us. And that's a fact. I mean, we just got over this election. I sound like a broken record. I think I say it every time I come on here. We won. We won big. There's more of us. We're charting our path. Y'all do whatever you want to do, but there's more of us. They seem to forget that there's more of us with the rhetoric that they spell out, the verbiage. There's more of us. And I don't know how else to exclamate that point.
I think going off of that, like what's interesting to me about this is I do think you're right, Rodney. Where even was this? Like, is he doing rallies after the fact?
I think they're all jumping on what's the older senator's name that just had him and AOC had the most popular senator. Bernie.
Yeah,
they had some success.
Yeah.
And I think they're latching on to that.
But like and I mean, look at the characters in that thing. It looks like Mos Eisley's Cantina is where he's at. Who's going to Mike Walz, governor of Minnesota, failed VP candidates rallies for 4 months after he lost? Who's going to these?
I think that was a rally after a bingo.
It looks like it. Yeah.
Dead on.
Hey, y'all come over here.
AOC had this photo op too, where she went to a rally. It was the same exact thing. It's all these old liberal boomers. But to Ronnie's point is, there's more of us than there are of them, and I think there's so few of them they have to pull people like Walz and Bernie and keep propping them up because they have nothing else.
It's what they got. They're having to play their whole roster second string. They're having to play second stringers.
Well, we have their
Kamala's
roster. We have
doing
Tulsi,
these.
we have Robert F. Kennedy Jr., we have Elon, we have Joe Rogan. I mean, all of these
Even Fetterman.
all of these A-tier leftists have kind of shifted under the tent that we're providing in the center.
Have you noticed since Fetterman has kind of leaned toward the right that he's speaking more clear now?
We were talking
He's
about
finally
that.
recovered from his strokes.
I mean, he couldn't even talk 2 years ago, and now he makes more sense than...
You could spin it though, where the Democrats could say that brain damage makes you Republican, strokes make you Republican. They could spin it though, but he's not not wearing the sweatsuits anymore. He's dressing.
Is he not? That's probably why he hasn't been in the news.
He's dressing nicer. He's certainly not dressing how he should.
Yeah.
But he's not going and doing speeches.
Maybe
talking through his nose.
Maybe he finally figured out the longevity of kind of being in that limelight. You actually have to put some clothes on. Laughing Dog said 1,000% agree with Rodney. They went too far in 2016.
Somebody broke the huddle with me. We've got somebody in the audience. Brett, thank you.
And
Appreciate
show
it,
their
Dog.
true faces. It's our country going forward forever. Yeah, I agree. Again, we always get back to this point is, how do we define us? But right now, I think we're cohesive enough that we need to get rid of the leeches on society. Once we do that, we can kind of straighten the ship a little bit more.
Right.
All right, we are going to jump into some photo op stuff. Hopefully this works like I want it to. We're just going to go one down the line. I don't have any particular order.
It's okay.
I think the first two are videos. Let's see what we got. Josh, you might have to get this going on us. Oh, this is Kamala's border visit.
I'm gonna have to get it going. Oh, you mean like?
Yeah, catch us up.
Can they hear it?
I don't remember. What is it? When Kamala went to the border, what do we listen to? I don't have any audio.
We're not getting audio from it? Okay. That was the video I played earlier for you. You kind of listened where these are people from Arizona that live in a border town, and Kamala visited in, like, you can see, I don't know if the date was there earlier, but it was like September of 2024, and that was the first time she had actually gone down there. And so they're asking these guys, it's like, hey, your town, you know, is basically like literally being invaded by, you know, illegals crossing over the border. What do you think of it? And look at these people. Like you can almost fill in the blanks with what they're saying. The first guy was like, what he called her, like a pee pee poo poo head or something. Like he said something crazy. But a lot of funny characters just kind of voicing their grievance about how, like, oh, and like now that she's running for president, she finally comes down. The borders are finally visits the border in one of like the biggest border crossing towns in the United States.
Politicians have no shame. I mean, they do that all the time.
Yeah, Kamala was a pretty rough VP. She kind of hid in the shadows and then kind of popped out there at the end. This is Christy Nome. I should have made some audio. This is her, though. Dude.
I love this video.
You wanna do this one again, Josh?
I've actually
This was recently.
I don't remember what she said, but it was basically along the lines of like, she was in El Salvador. I think that's where this video was taken. Yeah. And she was like saying, this is what's going to happen to you if you come into this country illegally and break our laws. And what, I don't know if you guys have been seeing it, and like, you know, Zeb, you know, like I'm not on Twitter at all, hardly, not as much as I need to be, but I've been seeing liberals all over Twitter saying like, this is draconian, this is the scariest thing ever. And I'm like, I know, imagine what would happen to her if those bars weren't there. But like, it is kind of funny seeing these, like, let's be honest, these are gangster types. Like, they look like gangsters, but they're all like perfectly lined up. I was telling Zeb before the show started, I was like, do they have guns on them or something? It like they're not throwing anything at her. They're not doing anything. They must have like guys with machine guns right off camera.
Well, how did they get them to agree to be a part of the photo op?
They're prisoners. Who cares? You
point the camera.
Yeah.
Do you think this is effective? I do.
Chrissy, no?
Well, yeah, she's effective. No, the whole
send them to El Salvador.
Yeah, no, just the video.
The video.
Oh.
Yeah.
Effective in what way?
Sending a message.
Like, do you think it's bad optics?
No, I think it's effective in sending our message.
Saying we're going to deport people.
Yeah.
Kind of be a deterrent. I think so. Deterrent. I'd like somebody else to be doing it, but yeah.
I think I like the videos. I don't know. You guys have probably seen the videos of them actually escorting those guys off and on airplanes, getting them out, where they like shave their heads. They're all like carrying them like face down. And actually, you guys are in the Marines. I was talking about that with Ken and Dave on the show. Why do they do that? Why do they carry them kind of like, they like make them bend over and they carry them out like that.
You're taught in non-lethal training to do that.
Yeah.
And so when you're in that position, you can't really run away or buck. It's compliance.
Gotcha.
Most vulnerable position you can be.
Yeah. So there's, I think there's like 5 levels of compliance in non-lethal training. So, and that's level 1. And then
I figured that's what it was.
But again, it could be a part of it. Could be the optics. I mean, those are strong optics there.
Well, it's the same reason they're shaving their heads. I mean, it's optics.
So you come here like, we're going to shave your head and bend you over. Get you out of the country.
Hey, dude, as long as they're not our problem anymore, I don't care. All right, let's jump into the next one. All right, this was what, 2 days ago? This is our current VP shooting on the range with some Marines. Rodney, you ever shot on the range with Marines?
I have indeed.
You have indeed. What you and there's a couple more pictures that came along with this, but man, I think this is good optics. You know, JD Vance has done a real good job. I give him a lot of praise. I think he's done a real good job of getting out there and meeting with the people and kind of putting himself out there to, I mean, whether it's shooting guns or just going out there to rallies or to EU I just think all around he's done very, very well so far. He did have a speech the other day that I didn't completely agree with. I think it kind of contradicted some of his points, but
I hadn't seen it. I'd love to hear about it
We
sometime.
might have to bring it up next week.
Well, Rodney, I know you probably like this. I have a little bit of a different opinion on it, so I'll let you go.
No, I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear your difference.
Okay.
Josh's opinion's wrong, whatever it is.
We'll see about that. So I'm admittedly like, I get the idea behind this picture where, he's a former Marine writing press releases. He's got all the tactical gear on. He's got this badass looking gun. The first thing I noticed when I saw this picture was like his chubby cheeks being like pressed up against the gun. And because like JD Vance, like people have said, they call it Ozempic face. He's got a little bit of like kind of a gaunt yet chubby face, and I think it's kind of adorable. His big old cheeks just like pressed up against the gun. And I'm not a gun guy.
What's it called? Cheek weld? When you shoot guns, you're supposed to kind of press your cheek.
No, I know that.
I'm
but
tripping out on the analysis.
I know you're supposed to press your gun to it.
If you have to dig that hard, man, let it go.
I'm just telling you, it's the first thing I noticed.
That's all you got against our vice president.
That's how much
all you got?
I hate this guy. But also, like, look, I'll admit it's a good picture, but digging deep, I was still able to find something, which is his chubby little cheeks, and he's. I don't know. There's something about like his posture. It just looked. I mean, I'm not a gun guy. I mean, look at me. But I like shooting guns, and I've done it before. I've never shot a gun like that. But also, how much attachments does he have on that thing? Like, are they even
suppressor? Was it? Oh man, laser light.
Well, he's got a laser and a scope.
It's tricked out
and a scope. Yeah,
it's tricked out for sure.
It's probably IR, which is a HK 416, and it's they carry them now.
Now, if this picture were a little bit bigger, and we saw at the end of the range there was people trying to cross the border, and he was like,
"Let's go."
Then I'd be like, "Okay, JD, let's get it done."
All right. Anything else? We jump into the next one.
All right.
JD Vance photo ops. Good. I mean, these are theater kids, man. This is what. What didn't somebody mention something about this a second ago?
Yeah, we were talking about it. It's like a Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, Studio
like
Ghibli. Have you seen these floating around yet?
No, I haven't.
They're taking images, like just historical images, all kind of images, and turning them into this like anime style thing, and just kind of posting it. But what's notable about this is it's the official White House Twitter.
Yeah.
Have you seen the picture of the big Hispanic chick that's crying because she's getting deported?
The real picture, yeah.
The real picture.
That's what this is.
I
thought so.
The official, whoever's running this White House Twitter account, dude, good on you. I like it.
That is funny. That's
so.
Base.
What is it intended to do?
Make fun
to make fun of
them.
The younger,
go
the younger
leave.
Generation.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely, they're attracting the younger generation.
Yeah.
That's I guarantee it's the younger generation who's posting this.
Everything's political.
Yeah,
and no telling how many.
And it's funny. It like we're the days of like this sort of like we must have respect for our enemies. Mm-hmm. You know, like we're kind of like mocking people.
It's in touch with what's going on right now, which is we'll come across a couple more that aren't.
It's funny to say like here's this fat Hispanic lady who's crying because she's getting deported, and we don't care. That's what's funny about it.
All right, jumping into the next one. This is I took a screenshot of this video. I think this is pretty iconic. Rodney, you know what this is?
Mm-mm. They just
no. This is a little bit older.
We're going like old,
this
like
is,
just
this is kind of history,
picture.
just
all
in general.
Current events.
No, it's not all current. You know what this is?
No.
This is when Trump crossed into North Korea. Was it back in 2018 or something? Mm-hmm. Which was like that's a huge photo opportunity. I mean, I think
it's a historic moment. And in the video, because this is a screenshot of it, but in the video, something I thought was interesting. I don't know if you saw it, but like Trump was visiting Kim Jong-un in North Korea, but the video has Kim Jong-un walking up to Donald Trump, not the other way around. I thought that was like, I mean, but aura, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where it's like the president of the country Trump is visiting has to like come to him as opposed to, him getting off the helicopter and walking up to the leader who's standing perfectly still. I thought it was just cool.
Well, that's like the video, and I'm not going to be able to explain it properly, but it was some summit, and I think it was in Saudi Arabia, and some prince was sitting down, and it made the verbiage on it was that you never touch them. And Trump
he walks by,
tap him on the shoulder.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he also did something to that effect with the Queen. You're never supposed to walk in front of the Queen of England, but he did. So, I mean, good on him. I mean, he's the president of the United States. Should we respect other people's culture? To an extent.
To an extent.
To an extent.
Yeah, I'll probably go further with that than you guys do, but I'm
probably.
But I like the stuff that I see.
Josh?
Okay, so with this one, and I'm sure you can zoom in. I can't remember what this guy's name is, but a political figure, and it's him promoting people getting the vaccine back when that was hot and heavy. And when you zoom in on the image, you can see that the nurse injecting him with the vaccine, there's actually no needle. It's kind of hard, like from whoa, that's not what we need. But if you zoom in enough, you can actually see that there's no needle.
It was just for a photo.
It's and it looks like she's got it in her other hand. You see that green thing kind of floating above the pink part of the needle?
A little bit.
Yeah, like look right at the pink part of the needle or of the syringe. Right above it, there's green, and then I think.
But
that's
yeah, I mean there were a lot
of
of these going around
where she like took it out. Like he's not actually getting the vaccine.
When you were up there, Ronnie, did y'all prep photo ops like this? Like one that comes to mind is like Madison Cawthorn. I think it was inauguration or something. He was bringing pizza to the troops, and he's in a wheelchair. I like Madison Cawthorn. But he started spilling beans and they wouldn't let him back up there. But he was trying to carry pizzas and wheel his wheelchair at the same time. I was like, man, just let somebody carry the pizzas and, get on over there. It was a struggle for me to watch. You know what I mean?
We would stage like normal people. If you were at SCDOT, you might have a shovel, putting a little gravel in a hole.
Like a ribbon, a ribbon
that.
cutting ceremony. Yeah.
Nothing, it wasn't.
So nothing elaborate. I mean, you're not.
No. But I think as time goes on, you're going to see more of that elaborate. I mean, we're seeing it now. Just get more creative.
More creative. Yeah, we definitely, at least a rapid incoming of information through social media and stuff. Josh, what did you send me here?
This one I love because I actually don't know what they're at, but like this almost looks like a staged photo. Like a parody photo of Biden. If you were to say like that's an actor pretending to be Biden, the two guys just like giving each other the side eye over whatever he's doing with this lady who, honestly, her face, I can't really tell if she's uncomfortable, if she's enjoying it. I would lean uncomfortable, but the two guys on the left and right, their faces kind of say it all.
You don't think he was imposed in that video? I don't think this is real. That looks like maybe he was.
It does look like it's almost like too perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I would question the validity.
Yeah, I would question it too. I think she's a little too old for him to be sniffing her hair for sure. For sure.
You're ruthless.
But yeah, dude, it's so. Some of these photos are so like I don't know, cringe. That had to be halfway set up a little bit. I mean, nobody's going to go sit on the president's lap like that. Oh, this is a nice one. Ronnie, can you see? I don't know if you need glasses or not.
No, I can see it. I can see from a distance.
You like that one? Bill and Hillary popping balloons. Is this cringe or not? This was probably at some type of celebration.
I can't remember whether this was around the time of the 2016 election. I remember of her like you remember the video where she's like like she's like like a baby like seeing bubbles for the first time.
Oh yeah.
I think it looked like it's okay to be like haha like yay we're celebrating there's balloons, but like Bill Clinton's like
it's probably at the convention. It's probably at the DNC convention.
Yeah,
that they had before
right.
Most likely.
Elections. Yeah. No, my favorite tweet of hers when she tweeted a picture of a baby picture of herself and said, happy birthday to this future president. That's probably my favorite.
Didn't age well.
Didn't age well at all. Who's this?
I don't know who that guy
Obama
is.
and some other guy.
Yeah,
I mean, how I know kind
That's
of
just
mishaps
weird.
happen, Rodney, but like, how do you end up like this? Like,
That just doesn't
like
look
what is
good.
this?
I have no idea.
I like assuming he's almost like a head of state of a different nation.
It looks
Like,
like
what
Mitch
is that
McConnell.
guy trying to say? But like, he went to shake his hand, and that guy just wasn't having it. So he's like, yeah, but see, we're getting along.
All right, let's see if we can get some. Oh, this is the one I was waiting on, man. Hitting the road today. Y'all know I'm not afraid to roll up my sleeves and get to work. You know, anytime I get to bash on Nancy Mace, it's gonna happen. So here we are. Nancy Mace posting a picture on Twitter of her airing up her tire in a Suburban. It's like, dude, what?
I go back to she can stand on her own accomplishment. She doesn't need all these stage photos. I don't get it. She posts so often on social media, and that's fine. I mean, I get that to some point, but I think she can stand more on some of the things that she's accomplished than some of this, stuff we're seeing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd bash her for some of her accomplishments. So, yeah.
Well, she's got.
Have we had a Nancy Mace discussion before?
I think just slightly, and I'm gonna be very respectful. She's a sitting congresswoman. I know you're way more bolder than I am, and there's certainly a pathway for her to be our governor. And I like, I like her strength and her fortitude. I just think today politicians do too much of the stage photos, and
It's too much.
you lose some of your genuineness in the whole thing. It's not for me. It's not for me.
Yep, not for me either. Especially
if I
this.
see you 10 times in one day
It's-
posting something, that's too much for me.
It's just not authentic at all. Like it's not even close, man. Oh boy.
Well, you're going to see a lot more of that. Certainly are.
Romney and Trump at the dinner. They look extremely happy.
I just love Trump's face in this one. This is one of the ones I was laughing at, where it's like this. Like, I found this picture on Politico, and it was like all of these super embarrassing photos. And it's like, look at how it's probably like making fun of Romney and how uncomfortable he is. But I love how like Donald Trump, in context, you realize he just like beat Romney, not into submission, but Romney was like, I'm supposed to be the president of the United States, and I lost to this asshole. And he's just like got this big old grin in that like troll face in the corner.
Ronnie, would that picture be able to be taken today?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either, man. I think we've come a long way as a country, and Romney being kicked out of the that circle up there is a good step forward.
Well, you see that transition. I mean, from the boring blah blah blah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, to really action taking place. I mean, we're in active mode now. This is a transition that I, in my lifetime, have not seen.
We're finally in offensive mode instead
Amen.
of just playing defense the entire time. I like that.
You just put
that's
it
a
way
good
better
take.
than me.
Now, out of George Bush's photo ops, I think this one is not the worst. The worst one would be him in that classroom being told the Twin Towers is falling. I think that's
Mr. President, there's a cool bug outside.
To me, he's the most hilarious president of all time.
he is definitely, he's goofy, man. He's a little goofy.
And I liked him and his dad. I did to some degree. Now, they're not accomplishing anything what we're accomplishing today. But the greatest one that I've ever seen of him, do you remember when he was holding kind of a conference and somebody threw a shoe at him?
No, yeah.
And,
That's
he
a
was
good one.
he ducked, and he was ready for that next one, too. He was on alert next. Something about that video tickled me to no end. I laugh every time I see it.
And I
That
remember
expression.
a few years ago, it was actually like right after Trump got elected the first time, my family went to visit some family in DC, and I've got a relative who's like in the legal world over there. And he was telling me how like he knew George Bush, and he's like the most physically fit president we've ever had. Like that he works out every morning. And even when I don't know if you guys saw him briefly at Trump's inauguration. I mean, he's noticeably older. I mean, he was old back then, but he was moving around pretty well for a
absolutely.
guy of his age.
Yeah, he looks fit to me. Looks fit, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They smell something.
It is fun. Yeah.
Oh
Oh
God,
my!
who is this? Elizabeth Warren? I can't tell.
No,
Or is it Hillary
that's
Clinton?
the. Oh man,
I thought it was Hillary
the
Clinton.
Prime Minister of Germany.
Oh,
I forget her name, but I did think it was Elizabeth Warren too. It's like it's an M. There's an M in there.
Angela Merkel.
Merkel, yeah, yeah. That's
why-
Like
first
you
off,
got to
what
be
are
a
they
little
even
bit more
eating?
conscious about what you're doing than this, right, Rodney?
When you're a politician, you better assume your picture's been taken 24/7.
Yes.
Period. There's no excuse.
Like, how do you get caught with this?
I don't know, buddy.
Oh,
Rodney,
man.
would you get caught with this picture?
I don't know what she's eating, but it doesn't look good to me to start with. Is that some type of fish?
Yeah, it looks like some type of fish. I'm good on that
real,
one too.
real sushi, it appears.
That to me would be the worst part about being a politician, being a president, is having to go to these like the eating raw fish society and say like, I'm going to respect your right to eat raw fish, and here I got to do it too. I couldn't do that if I were running. I couldn't do that.
I mean, that's kind of what we're getting at. Is they're all actors. There's very few authenticity
You
here.
just said a mouthful, buddy. It has. Our politicians have turned into actors. They really have. They really have. It's the perception, not the.
Oh yeah,
not
that's
the realness.
nice, dude. How is Nancy Pelosi still around? That's a question I have.
Formaldehyde.
That's Boehner there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Quick story about him. I spent a day with him when I worked for the congressman, and I might have shared this with you. Do you know what his only political office was prior to Congress?
No.
President of a HOA.
Really?
And he said that was the best battleground he could ever have, that was equally as hard as Congress. Those HOAs are tough. That was his only political experience.
Interesting. The caption of that picture was like, I think he was handing it over to her because of the transition, and he went in for a booch, and she just wasn't having it.
Why would he have it? That's too
I
much.
don't know. Yeah.
Dude, John McCain, he
Yeah,
really
Rodney.
tripped me out when he was running, man. I don't know. I never liked him. Not specifically because of his neo-composition. It's just, I just didn't.
He went back. And
He was a
forth.
very Ted Cruz type politician. He just doesn't have it. You know, like we were talking about earlier, DeSantis, he just doesn't have it. But then you get caught with a picture like this. It's like, dude, come on. And Obama looks like he's 18 here. So
I know, man. Obama looks good in that picture. And the caption of that one basically said that, like, during one of the debates, he went to the wrong podium. And this was like the moment he like realized it. This was like his reaction.
Okay. Whatever you say.
what is this? Trump in Japan or somewhere?
Yeah, they got some like funny way of shaking hands, but he looks like
Is
he's
this
having a fun time.
Is this something they do?
Apparently, and it's not Japan. It's like it's like the Philippines. It's like one of the like island.
I'm not going to say anything racist.
It's one of the Pacific Islander nations, that no one knows about.
Singapore.
New Guinea or something like
somewhere,
that. Yeah,
Indonesia.
yeah. And this is like something they do for fun. And
Right? You ever shook hands like that?
I can't say that I have.
he looks like he's having a fun time though.
See, dude, this is
That's
solid.
my favorite.
Where are our horse pictures at? I mean, this is
It looks like a baby photo, like when parents put their like babies on the rocking chair. He's just so uncomfortable, and I guess it's the things you put on horses, but it makes his shoes look enormous. It makes it look like he's got hooves.
Horses do appear to be a theme. What the Russian with his
yeah.
shirt off.
We're gonna get to that here in a second
You
too.
got that one, okay.
But yeah, I mean, I would rather this photo op than whatever we're getting from our politicians. You know what I mean?
It's cool. You can't deny it.
There's another one.
I mean, it looks silly because he looks silly, but if Donald Trump was doing that, let's get 100 terms. Let's do it, man.
I think it was Mike Lee that kind of took a I think it was Donald Trump on a Velociraptor with fireworks going off behind him. He took a big poster of that to Congress to kind of make a point. I don't remember exactly what the point was, but he was taking memes up there of Donald Trump on riding a Velociraptor or something crazy. Oh, it's not the horse. It's fishing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but that's him. Yeah.
I mean, you talk
I
about
think it
George
looks
Bush
good.
being fit. I mean, how old's Putin? He's probably, what, 60 here, 50, late 50s, 60s. It's like, man, I mean, he's in good shape, you know?
Doesn't look like he's about to stroke out.
That's probably the only picture I've seen him smiling in.
True. Yeah.
I think he's
Caught
he's
him-
having a
he
good
caught him a
time.
fish.
Catch like that.
Caught him
absolutely.
fish,
Yeah,
dude.
He wanted to see me smile. Bass.
No, that's Putin again. I mean, he's got him some puppies, dude. It's like, give us some good photo ops like this. Where's
Yeah.
Donald Trump in the snow with some puppies?
Yeah.
Maybe not Trump, but, you know, I don't know.
And I'm curious,
Gates
I'm
when he
like,
was running
did
or
he
something.
fall? Is he just hanging out and the
It's a
puppies
photo
came
op,
to
dude.
him?
I think
It looks good.
they're actors too. They're just they have a preference for their country instead of just opening the borders like a lot of ours. Getting down to the last ones here. What is this? Boris Johnson?
That's
Dude,
Boris
he's
Johnson.
a clown. He's kind of getting international politics right now, but you know what we're talking about. Right?
I do. Yeah.
You never had any running with those guys.
No.
Did you ever deal with like any of the international stuff?
We had once in Florence. We had some ambassador to come down. I don't recall who it was, but there was a language barrier too. We even had to have.
Oh, I bet that's a
interpreter.
struggle. It's like the language barrier with Zelensky too. It wasn't a language barrier, but it was kind of broken, and I don't know. I thought it was funny when they had that meeting too.
The one where they fought?
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh, this is a solid one. You know what this is, Rodney?
No, I have no idea.
Really?
I don't know if I don't see it. Where or what? What is it? Who is it?
You know who the guy in the middle is?
I do not.
It's Justin Trudeau.
Oh, my
Yeah.
Really?
Prime Minister of
Yeah.
Canada.
Okay. Wow.
That was back in his high school days, I think, when he was a high school teacher. He got a lot of flack for that one too. But see, these are bad photo ops, you know.
Yeah,
Josh,
maybe
who is
Rodney,
this?
you could fill us in on this one. It seems like
So
Al Franklin is his name, I think.
Yeah, so I do remember him as an actor / comedian, and people, when he was looking to run, he wasn't been taken serious initially, but then he got some traction. But best I can remember was this the one that did it in?
I think so.
Yeah.
I do remember he made a bad mistake and ruined his career, but then I can see this being the very picture that did it.
See, I think Trump generally has good photo ops. I mean, the one that I haven't, this is the last one. The one that we don't have on here is him going, fight after he got shot. So,
Which will go
Well,
down
yeah,
as the
clearly.
greatest in history. That particular
yeah, I think
shot
so
will
too.
be the-
I mean, this is decent. He's got an odd face, but
That's all right.
It's just him, like, I don't even know who that guy is, but it's him just like, come here, like get in this photo, man. Dominator.
But yeah, that's about all I got from photos. But I don't know. What do you do? What did y'all? And I kind of asked you this already. Do y'all set up like photo ops before anything?
So,
Slide over.
so we have
No, that way.
the wrong way.
There we go.
So of course we have a press secretary, and but all those are like spontaneous.
Is that
we
like
never set a stage that I can recall and took.
it wasn't
pictures.
completely staged. You would kind of fix it up, a little bit before whatever you were doing.
Actually, with us, it was just in the moments, just
Really?
taking pictures. Yeah. I don't think we ever even semi-staged anything.
Now
that
you
I
talk about a
recall.
press secretary. I guess it would be called communications or something. Like, did Tom Rice have somebody that ran their socials? I know this was a few years ago when it wasn't as, it's been exponential growth on like
Yeah, it
social
has.
for politicians recently.
Yeah.
What kind of?
So we did have somebody doing our site. It was best I can recall was a staff member. Although I do remember, the congressman. Are we back?
Uh-oh.
Can you tell if we're back?
Well, it says 6 people are watching.
Yeah.
Oh, just keep going.
All right. So both of you got, Zeb, I know you worked with Rodney, and Rodney, you ran for office several times.
Mm-hmm.
And as someone, and you worked in politics. So as someone with that experience, we were, you know, reacting to all these photos, reacting to all these like goofy photo opportunities, and especially the Nancy Mace one. The Nancy Mace one, which was totally staged, it just comes across as inauthentic. In the post Donald Trump political era, what do you guys think is a good way? Because obviously, like, photo ops are a necessity; they exist for a reason. But what is a good way for it to come across authentically? Like, what would you do if you were running a campaign? Like, if you were running his or he running yours, what would you do to say, I got to make Zeb, he is an authentic guy. How do we get that across to the public?
So what I would do, if you're going to be authentic, be authentic. The value I see is having someone to constantly film and take pictures of you, constantly, and then just picking out the best feeds that
I think Rodney's right. I'm on the same line. I think it's create opportunity to be authentic and have somebody there filming it and then kind of pick it off from there. I don't think they aren't, I mean, nobody's up there is Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie. You know what I mean? They aren't actors. A lot of them are failed actors. That's why they're there. But I think Rodney's right. You have
just
to create,
all and get the best footage.
Create opportunity. You know, walk around the block in D.C. a couple times. You know, get some interaction. I know Nancy Mace does this. She goes out and, I mean, the reporters talk to her and then the public kind of mentions something and they'll clip that one little thing and put it up there. And that's some of her best work is when she does that. I don't agree with her probably in that video itself, but it is more authentic than filling air in a tire with your dress on in the morning like you're actually doing something.
Right, because the thing I'm thinking of is two things. First off, as it relates to the Nancy, as the Nancy Mace photo, is the biggest thing that makes it look inauthentic is the fact that she's like smiling at the camera. You know what I mean? If it was like, first off, she's not putting air in her tires.
Get somebody hide in the woods, get some tree branches in the way, get some good shots.
I mean, you could take a picture of her doing it, but like Nancy Mace. Oh, I'm a lady. I'm getting my hands dirty. I'm putting air in my own tires. Like, let's be real. That's probably the first time she's ever done that since she's been in office, if not in her entire life.
The reason why I said it shouldn't have to do that, because, I mean, I think just went her last year, but nevertheless, I'm not going to take anything away. She graduated from the Citadel, so she's already demonstrated she can be to some degree. So that was unnecessary. That didn't speak to me. I'm not sure who.
I think Nancy Mace is unnecessary.
I think so. Like I'm thinking like if I were going to completely stage photo ops for a political candidate, I'd say like get maybe not a ride, but like get a guy at his house. You know, don't dox your candidate, but like him on a riding mower with his little boy on his lap or something like that. Or push mower with the boy on his shoulders, not looking at the camera. Like that's a good photo. You know what I mean? Just like thinking kind of like that.
Do they have do they have things like that up there in DC now? I know they got like communications director to kind of set things up, or they'll film them a short little video where they like to hold the mic in their hand and talk and whatever.
Well, so much of that now you do have to separate. I mean, and they're very serious about this. Campaign funds from actual
staffing funds.
Yeah. They're totally different. In fact, you know, I couldn't take a check when I was officially working for Tom. I couldn't take a check for the campaign. I mean, they've got serious consequences, those type of things. So you separate those monies and actions completely. Anytime I went to a campaign event,
do you think people fudge? Do you think people fudge those numbers?
I'm not really sure.
Or do you think they work around it through like lobbying funds and stuff?
I mean, I wasn't privy to the accounting process. I never seen that done, but I do.
Well, they're shady up there is kind of what I'm asking. They're real shady up there.
Whatever
So
they get by with, they'll get by with.
Okay.
But I could never attend a campaign fund on event on official time.
Mm-hmm.
Never could do that.
I got you.
Any more questions? I want to pull a couple prompts over here for Rodney. Maybe we can sift through a couple of them.
Those are
about,
fun.
I don't know, 15, 20 minutes.
Bring it on, Jack.
Bring it on. All right. Well, you got a choice. You got
ain't nobody scared in here.
Religion. Was that religion?
I think we'll all jive on the religion, so let's do something else. I think we're all.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page.
Josh?
Oh Lord.
Yes, that's perfect. I didn't know that was a a specific
we
one.
got
That's
a
exactly what we
conspiracy
need.
expansion
here's
pack.
the huddle break.
Yeah.
Conspiracy expansion
we knew it
pack.
happened eventually.
You lied to me, Josh.
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
From Michael Knowles' Yes or No set from the Daily Wire. These are prompts coming in. I'm going to let Roddy and Josh kind of pick and choose here. A little pick a card, any card.
There's the old maid right there.
All right, what you got?
Okay. I can't. Those words are no. The words are too big.
They're too big.
I don't know how to pronounce that last word.
They're
The fat positivity movement is ushering in transhumanism. The fat positivity movement.
Break that down for me, would you?
Okay, so the fat positivity movement, like people
saying it's okay to be fat.
saying it's okay to be fat,
Thank you, fellas.
is ushering in transhumanism. And, it's bringing in transhumanism where...
Cyborgs.
Yeah.
Putting your brain in a computer.
Okay.
What do you think? I think
That one's a little.
Yeah,
out there.
Let me draw again.
Let's.
I'm gonna say just generally.
That's not
I'm
like
gonna
a
say no.
conspiracy theory anyway. That's like a theory.
They probably had to come up with stuff. I don't know how many conspiracy theories. there are.
yeah. There's it's like a 200 cards there.
All right, what we got?
Oh man.
Oh Lord.
You've seen that one before? No, I can read that one.
Pyramid stones were cut and assembled by sound frequencies.
I've heard this one.
Have you heard of
You
that
haven't heard this
conspiracy
one?
theory yet?
No. This is...
Go ahead,
So
Josh.
I'll explain it. There's ways where you can actually use sound to levitate objects as well as to a high enough frequency. High enough
like
frequency can
lasers.
break the glass,
Like lasers,
but it
but
becomes
sound.
like a laser.
Yeah.
And they showed how there was one tribe in the Aztecs or something. They would use these tubes, but they were basically like instruments, and they would hum in them, and it would carry rocks up and down the tubes, to one guy on the bottom up in the tree. But it was it didn't have any use. It was for the same reason we would use it, because it's just kind of cool.
Right.
But people expand on it and say, well, the Egyptians were so advanced, they used some type
Sound
of
to
thing
do the
to
thing.
manipulate sound to cut big rocks.
I think
and
it was
float 'em.
aliens. No, I'm just kidding. I don't.
So
Did the aliens use sound?
I buy that 100% though. I actually do. I think that. Yeah. I buy that.
What the aliens or the frequencies?
Not the frequencies.
Oh.
Because I think even welding now, aren't they using water? Aren't they using water?
They can use water,
gels
yeah.
And all? Yeah.
I think I think back to the Jericho, the walls of Jericho came tumbling down, where they marched around 7 times with the trumpets. It's kind of a callback to there. If it fell, it was because of God, but also there's a lot of sound involved there. So,
Well, God created
maybe
the sound.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I can jive.
Well,
with
when
that.
he spoke, he created the world. So
Did you look at the box? Was it age appropriate? I think I'm too young, Dan.
21 and older.
I'm there, but this
All right,
is
let's pick
pretty
another.
high-tech
Josh, we'll pick
stuff.
one.
I'll pick one. All right, there we go. The world is less than 1 million years old.
What do you think, Rodney?
I don't care.
You don't know. You don't care.
I don't know, and I don't
'cause
care.
I think it's more than 1 million years old, and I think Zeb thinks it's less than
I
1 million
think
years old.
it's actually less than. I think it's actually 6,000 years old. It was just created mature.
I mean, it's possible.
Does that work?
Created with the appearance of age.
Oh, look at this one. I just flipped the deck over. Lee Harvey Oswald didn't act alone to kill JFK.
No.
The JFK files were just released. Have you taken a look at any of those?
That? No, I haven't. Shouldn't we know that today?
Well, we do know that today.
Yeah.
We do know. The
Do you
JFK
know?
What did the files reveal? So I told you I've been checked out for some time.
The files essentially revealed that it was essentially the CIA that killed JFK. But then it goes on to elaborate further that it was in cooperation with other peoples. Now this is just a very 1% of the files of the complete files that we have that CIA has. But it essentially says that there was a quote unquote a small clique within the CIA that plotted to kill JFK.
That were acting on their own as part of the
No,
There's
mission
a
of the
character
CIA.
named James Angleton,
Yeah.
and he wasn't in charge of it, but he was heavily involved in foreign intelligence. And I forget what it was, but like before the CIA was founded, he worked gathering intelligence during World War II, and he did this by getting information from like people fleeing the Holocaust and stuff like that. And so there's a belief that like it had to do with him wanting to cut the CIA. They believed he was not anti-communist enough, and he was trying to deny Israel a nuclear bomb. And all these factors coming together was sufficient enough motivation for the CIA to kind of take matters into their own hands. There was they released a guy's name, I forget his name now, but it was documents released under the Biden administration that talked about the agent that was reading Lee Harvey Oswald's mail. And there was a report on James Angleton's desk the day before they shot JFK. And then, Lee Harvey Oswald shoots JFK, is killed a few hours later or a day or two later. I can't quite remember. And then by Jack Kirby. It's a lot of information to unpack
Jack
right
Ruby.
here and now. Jack Ruby. I don't know where Kirby came from.
I mean, essentially the JFK, well, at least what we've gotten so far, and like I said, I think we've got 1.3% of the complete files. There's like 6 million pages of JFK files, and we have like 80,000. But what it boils down to is there was a secret clique working inside of the CIA to set this thing up, and Jack Ruby was kind of involved on the ground level, which we all know to be true, essentially. Lee Harvey Oswald was a patsy. The interview came out from, I think they went to interview his sister, and that's what she said too. So it goes a lot deeper than what we've been given so far, I think, but I think what we've been given gives us enough information to know that whatever clique inside the CIA is who.
And we're not going to judge
kind
you,
of ran
Rodney,
it.
and we don't expect you to take us on face value. But what do you think, if anything? And you can say I don't know, but like if it were a meter, like here's the official narrative here, or like here's the official narrative, here's I don't know, here's it was a conspiracy. Where do you kind of lie?
So just open to the whole thing.
You're open to
but
it.
I haven't really formed an opinion. I hope this doesn't sound crazy for me to use words like I don't care. I do care, but I'm more focused on moving forward. I very, very little do I look back. Obviously, while I'm fishing, you guys are reading though. I'm quite impressed with your
trying to catch up. I think we kind of went south around that time, maybe a little earlier. This country started going down. We're just feeling the ripple effects from that now. So I think if we can figure out what started this snowball of degeneracy across the board, then we can kind of get a clearer picture of where we are and maybe where we can go in the future.
Well, it bodes well for conspiracies.
Oh yeah,
like you guys, if this,
Well, the difference between the truth and conspiracy is 6 months. Ain't that what they say, guys? It's only been 60 years this time. All right, we'll do a couple more. You want to pick one?
Yeah, man. Let's try to see what we got here. Vaccines are fake.
Vaccines are fake.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think they've redefined vaccine to the point where it doesn't have any meaning anymore.
I think that's a fair take too. I mean, I've never looked into it, but like some of the conspiracy theories about vaccines, there's a part of me that's like I get part of it, and another parts that like where they're all poison. Like,
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I definitely believe like maybe some of them have ingredients that are unnecessary, or that they have ingredients in them that they found out later are producing adverse effects, but to admit it would be like detrimental to Pfizer or whatever. So they just kind of keep it under wraps. Like I could buy something like that, but this idea that like every vaccine ever invented is poison intentionally, I don't believe that.
I align with you in totality with everything you just said.
Good job, Josh.
Well, thank you.
And you?
Yeah, I think. Well, for instance, I have a son. He's 3, and so he hasn't had a few of the vaccines for specific reasons. But we kind of slow rolled his vaccine intake. So I would never let them allow 2 vaccines at one time. I saw a lot of adverse effects in some of the other kids in his age that when they would go in, they would get 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3, 4 vaccines at a time, and I just didn't. I wasn't comfortable with it. I know when he had his first or second vaccine that he had major like inflammation issues and he was sick the next day. And so every time he had a vaccine from then on, we would just give him Motrin before the vaccine, because I think a large issue is because of the inflammation that comes from vaccines inside specifically the head, and kind of puts pressure on the brain when it's developing when they're 1, 2, 3 years old. So I'm not going to say every vaccine has issues with it, but I will say that I think the inflammation from the injection of vaccines is a bigger issue than specifically what is inside the vaccine themselves.
Did you go overseas when you were in the Marine Corps?
Oh yeah, they pumped us full.
Well,
Well, in boot camp,
stuck us,
dude. In boot camp, we got like 6 or 7 back to back to back, and then they give you not a penicillin, a peanut butter shot. What was it?
I can't remember.
It was like an antibody shot, dude. That thing,
Peanut butter.
dude. It was like the consistency of peanut butter, and they would put it in your butt, and you would have to sit Indian style and just kind of rock around, massage it in. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Yo,
Dude,
what?
It was like the consistency of it was
We
like
didn't
it
get
would
stuck,
leave a knot on your
incredible,
butt.
Good.
You had to sit on it and kind of massage it into the muscle so it would disperse in your body, dude. It was brutal, man.
I worked at a retirement home, and I had to get a TB shot. But I just remember what that was it was like I
little
came
tiny
in.
bubble.
It was like a bubble under
Don't
the
scratch
skin.
it.
It was there for a week, and then they came back, sucked the bubble out, and then like tested it. So for a week, I had this bubble.
Yeah.
So it's like that, but bigger, and you had to kind of mush it in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that one was pretty rough.
But there was very little doubt of vaccines prior to COVID.
Well, there's been a massive
Sure.
increase in vaccines too recently. So
Okay, so let's change it up to that. Do you think that it was okay for people to be skeptical of I can almost guarantee I know that you think people shouldn't have been forced to get it or been fired to get it. I mean, that's what happened to me at WBT. But like, now, of course, there's people saying it's like it's mind control juice, it's magnetic or something like that. But
mind control.
But like, for example, just from a medical standpoint, like mRNA vaccines, which, affect the DNA, we don't know the long-term effects. I think it's okay to be skeptical of that. And maybe say it's not a conspiracy theory, but for them to say, oh, we know there's no adverse side effects, it's completely logical to be skeptical of that claim. Do you agree?
Absolutely. So you took a stand. You worked for WBTW and you didn't take the vaccine and you were dismissed?
I worked at WBT Radio in Charlotte.
Okay.
And they were, it's a conservative political talk station, but they were owned by a liberal company, radio company out of Baltimore.
But you took that stance? And,
yeah. Well, I applied for religious exemption, didn't get it, and I ended up quitting.
Yeah. So, just quickly on that, and it was not anything earth-shaking here. I took the vaccines, wish I didn't, and silly me, I took them so I could go to concerts. Honestly, I did. And at my age, I was thinking if it affects me, how many years I got left, really, But the thing is, I got COVID four times and took the vaccine and the booster, and I got COVID.
Yeah. Well, they lied to us up and down across the board, and we still haven't seen any, not zero, repercussions for these people lying to the American people. I mean, Fauci has a pardon back to 2014, but it was signed with an auto pen, so we'll see what happens there. Will anything happen, Josh?
No, nothing ever does.
Nothing
ever will.
Agreed.
All right, what we do? 2 more? You want to pick one, Rodney? Oh. Rodney's got to put it on his old man reading glasses.
The world could be flat.
The world could be flat. I mean, could is carrying a lot of weight here, man.
But it
It's
ain't.
a load bearing could.
Could is carrying a lot of weight here.
But it ain't.
I don't think so. But I'll tell you this.
I think. Go ahead.
If I got on a boat and went to Antarctica and I found the ice wall, I climbed up on it, and I put my hands on the dome, I'd come back. I wouldn't tell anybody. There's no point. Like, I'd probably take pictures, but I wouldn't, like no one would believe it. I'd keep that to myself.
Yeah, they would just throw you off the edge.
That's too, yeah, the Hyperboreans would throw me into the center of the earth.
The satellites would have retrieved that information a long time
All right,
ago.
last one, Josh. Last one.
Last one. Oh, I got two. I can.
Two. Pick one.
All right. I kind of like both of these. So
All right,
Paul-
we'll do both of them. Do one,
All
and
right.
then we'll do the other.
I know. Okay, we'll do Princess Diana's car accident was murder. Believe it or not, Zeb, I actually don't know the history on this one.
What you think, Rodney?
Well,
This
yeah,
is your
yeah.
time.
So she was chased by the paparazzi, of course. I think it probably happened exactly the way it did. I do.
You think it was an accident?
Okay.
I honestly
I mean,
don't
I
know.
understand the reason.
All right, here's my position. I don't think the photos that they gave us of her crash car or whatever it was her actual car. The license plate's different. There's a few issues that they have. I think this is a conspiracy that may hold some water. I think a lot of famous people kind of fake their death, if you will, and this could be one of those
You think
instances.
she's living?
I don't know if she's living, but I think it's quite possible that
Oh,
they
like
kind of framed a death for
They
her.
cut her a deal, so it's like we're gonna fake
Well,
your
she
death,
was
so
a
we don't
very
have to put the royal
disruptor.
family through the shame of divorce. Okay,
She was a big disruptor in the royal family over there. I mean, she did not kind of bow to what they had going on over there.
Yeah, she was an independent woman for sure.
All right, last one. This one I've never even heard of before. Paul McCartney died in 1966.
Paul McCartney's he's a singer, isn't he?
He's a Beatle.
Is he?
Even I knew that.
I don't know.
He's
Dude, I think hot take.
Open the
Hot
door
take.
and let it in.
Beatles are overrated. Hot
That's
take.
true. That's
Plaster
no.
that one everywhere. Beatles are overrated.
Look at Rodney.
I ain't coming back. I am not coming back. I'm not going. Y'all crossed the line now.
John, I'm dead. I died in 1966. John. I'm surprised you
What
didn't
you
know who
think?
Paul McCartney
No,
was.
Read it again. That he's dead.
That he died in 1966.
No.
Oh, is it
Does
claiming like he's got a clone or something?
I mean, that's
I don't
obviously
know.
They've
I've
got to
never-
be talking about it because he's had numerous.
It's one of those things where it's
appearances
like, if you had never heard of Princess Diane, you wouldn't know what that card meant. So, like, I don't know. Is there something that was he in a wreck and then
No.
but he like changed after? I
Nothing.
know he or married a woman with one leg. Is that involved or something?
No, I don't. They needed
Long
to print,
Jane Silver.
They needed to print one more card to complete the set.
Yeah. Now I'm kind of curious. I
that's
kind of want to
it.
see
Oh, he's great.
the
man.
lore on Paul McCartney.
So his career with the Beatles, I mean, he had a solo career, also with a group called Wings. I mean, he's put out more number one hits. I mean, he's up there with the best of them.
Yeah.
He's great. He's great.
One more for you, Rodney, just for you.
Okay.
Light bulb companies intentionally make them go bad,
So you have to buy him sooner.
so you got to buy them more often.
Every retailer has a expiration date on their product.
It's like
by design.
all the modern cars kind of go out around warranty.
That's right. That's right.
Light bulbs go out.
They're not idiots.
I think there's a light bulb somewhere that kind of Thomas Edison put together that is still burning.
Really? Wow. Okay.
It's very dim. It's basically useless, but it's on. You know,
And
it's
where-
like in a lighthouse
And where would
somewhere.
this be housed at?
It was like an old mill or a lighthouse. It was something, and it was in a basement. It was like one because apparently the thing about light bulbs is actually turning them off and on makes them go out faster. If you leave it on, it actually will last a lot longer, which is counterintuitive. I wouldn't have thought that, but that is how it works.
Just how much do you dudes read?
A lot.
Enough.
A lot. Well, I don't know, man. It's just a lot of information, and it's more of a like sifting through it. Am I interested in this? Okay, I'll read a little bit more on it. Okay, this isn't
What
interesting.
made you
so-
stop at light bulb? Though?
I don't know. It was off the top. I just.
I'm
think-
talking about.
Oh,
I'll tell you, I
exploring
remember
your knowledge.
It
What
just
made you
sounds
stop
we-
at light
we
bulb?
were actually talking about this today where I was listening to someone and this was back when Biden was running and he said a black guy invented the light bulb and people were like, yeah, that's true. And I was like, what? And it's one of those things where it's like so crazy I had to read into it and it's not true. It's about how like throughout the history of the light bulb, you know, it's like Thomas Edison invented it, but people improved on it
Modified it,
and then
improved
made
it.
patents. And this guy, he found a filament that burns brighter. And it was basically like for exactly what we were saying earlier about why Edison's light bulbs last so long is they were extremely dim compared to like what we experience today.
sure.
They were almost like just as bright or less bright than candlelight back then. But because of that, they lasted so much longer. The brighter light bulbs you get, you know, you burn twice as
hard, stronger, whatever.
yeah, you burn
More
out quicker. Exactly. So that was one, like that's where I learned about light bulbs because it was explaining where the theory that a black guy invented the light bulb came from.
Is anybody still with us? In this
There's a
light bulb
couple.
conversation?
There's four
we got,
people.
we got a couple of people watching the light bulb discussion going on. But no, thank you for stopping by or sticking around. If you are, leave us a like, subscribe. Go check out Josh's YouTube, Twitter also. So, and if you're on his, check out mine. Rodney, anything before we peace out in here?
No, with the weather changing, I hope everybody enjoys this great outdoors. Do something other than read.
Do something other than read. Just doom
Go
scroll.
touch grass.
Doom scroll your life away. Josh, anything?
I'm good, man. I think it was a good show. We got to do this again next time. That could be like a regular, or maybe not totally regular. We're going to run out of cards
That was
eventually,
fun.
but
That
that
was
would be
fun.
a fun little thing for
it
us to
is.
do with Rodney. That was fun.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, gentlemen, thank you for joining us today.
thank you for having
People
us.
out there, thank you for stopping by. And we'll see you Wednesday. We're going to try Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
That's the plan.
Let's do
tentatively.
Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 2:30.
Hoorah, hoorah.